Yes, ma'am.
Today you all know that we have been in this Zoom meeting to record the focus group discussion. This is one of the group activity presented by Team Vritti. We have been working throughout for this, and the video recording will be done today. So all of you know your roles, what you are supposed to do. Okay, this is just a discussion, and we will start with one by one. Okay, and all of you have shared your age, experience, what is your faculty development program skill, and a number of FDPs taken. So when I am asking some questions, you can just repeat the same thing so that it will be easy for us to recollect again, and then you can share your experience. And then the whole thing will be recorded, and Venki will be doing the great job and good job of editing and then cutting the video, whichever is not necessary. So there is no time constraint. We can share our experience. And I have taken as the facilitator role to interview. I don't know whether I'm fit for that or not, but anyway, I will try my best to suit that position, because my seniors, you will have so much of experience. I do not have the idea how to ask you to ask the questions and get the prompt answers from you. But only thing, as a senior, age-old person, I'll try to get the maximum from you all. Okay. And then, first my question, I will project with Dr. Anand and Raj. Are you ready, Anand and Raj? Anand and Raj.
Yes, ma'am. We are ready, ma'am.
Okay. So both of you can answer one by one. You can take the turns. And before that, you can share your experiences. And before that, you please introduce yourself. When your chance come to answer, I will just project the question. You give the answer for that with your introduction. Share your experiences with developing faculty to teach interprofessional education at your institution. This is a very complicated subject because this is one of the newest venture that we have ventured into. We have done so many faculty development programs, but this interprofessional to join together all the poles, North Pole, South Pole, all the poles together to attract each other. It's one of the Herculean task. And please, Raj and Anand, please share your experiences with a brief introduction about yourself. Mic is to you.
One second, I want to tell you something. Dr. Venki, our time is constrained. It is 40 minutes for Zoom, or it is?
No. I have a full version.
Okay, okay. Then it is not a problem. Then it's not a problem. You may start.
Ma'am, I think you can, sorry.
How much time do you have for each question, Dr. Venki?
Sir, about 2 minutes. Can share in about 2 to 3 minutes would be fine, I feel. And I think Jayalakshmi, ma'am, you can just direct the question towards one person so that they'll be ready with that. Yes.
Okay. Dr. Raj, share your experience with developing faculty to teach interprofessional education at your institution.
Okay. Sure. My background is emergency medicine, and I'm mainly involved in simulation teaching. Because I bring a combination of emergency medicine and simulation to the table. Interprofessional education is absolute essence to running simulation scenarios at my center. In this regard, in connection to my project of interprofessional education as well, we developed a boot camp that involves doctors, nurses, and emergency paramedics. Now, somehow, the medical education, the health profession become such a entity that we're all separately in silos, but we're expected to work together from day one onwards. The moment you get your first job, you're expected to work together in teams, but you never train together in teams. So my goal was to develop a simulation curriculum that brings together teams together They brings together individuals of different professions so they can train together, and the same training can be put to practice at work level. And my experience has been overwhelmingly positive. That's because I'm also the faculty in charge of the emergency department as well as the paramedics. So that gave me some leeway to bring together two departments. And the nursing college has always been very fascinated by simulation. If you go back in history, before the National Medical Council, it was the Indian Nursing Council which recognized simulation first. 10 years back, the NMC talks about skill lab and skill simulation lab only 2 or 3 years before time. But the IMC, the Indian Nursing Council, recognized simulation almost 10 years back. So that brought to be more motivation and enthusiasm from the nursing college to get involved in simulation. So as far as my experience goes, I'd like to reiterate that it's been overwhelmingly positive, and it helped me bring the simulation component into it. Rather than sticking to a broad subject of interprofessional education, I focused on one TL methodology, teaching learning methodology, which is simulation. And because it's new, because it's fascinating, because everybody's very interested in it, it helped me create the curriculum very, very quickly. And that's my experience, ma'am.
Okay, Dr. Raj, you said about simulation lab.
Yes.
Excuse me, but how did you make it in your program? Whatever the curriculum you have made, how you
Yes, ma'am.
made other interprofessional team to work along with you? That experience you have to share with us.
Ma'am, it's always the low-hanging fruit. I didn't have big goals in the start. I had a very small goal, which is focusing on cardiac and trauma emergency scenarios and bring these interprofessional group to work together. So what we did was we created a curriculum by involving all the three faculties and asking them what is important according to them. So we involved the emergency medicine faculties, which is me and another colleague of mine. We involved the nursing college faculty, who because emergency medicine is not taught in the medical curriculum or the nursing curriculum per se. So we thought we did a basic, very simple needs assessment where we asked them through a questionnaire what they feel, what emergency scenarios are important for them. And same thing for paramedical faculty. The needs assessment was collated, and we found that almost everybody agreed that trauma emergencies and cardiac emergencies are the highest importance. So taking these two emergencies into account, trauma and cardiac, we created a 2-day curriculum in which each interprofessional aspect was clearly identified. For doctors, it was diagnosis. For nurses, it was preparation and management and immediate addressing and triage. For EMTs, it was procedural helping and pre-hospital transfer. So these three components were put together and an EM curriculum was prepared. That's how we went about it. So a needs assessment was done and everybody's opinions was taken into account, and it was a broad spectrum understanding.
Yeah, really you had a tough time in the beginning, I suppose.
Yes, ma'am. I was new to the
Yeah.
institute as well. So it was
You are
very
new
challenging.
to the institute
Yeah.
and you are new to the skill lab tech training and at the same time new to the training of this type of session. Am I correct?
Correct, ma'am. Correct.
Initially, you should have had so much of problem. But
Yeah.
once it becomes routine, it comes automatically. Okay.
Correct.
Nicely, you got shared your experiences. Thank you, Rajkumar. What is your age, experience, and how many faculty development programs you have developed?
Ma'am, I'm 33 years of age. I have about 7 years of simulation experience, 6 to 7 years of simulation experience. I have taken FTPs in the past since my initiation, and I've taken 5 in the past 5 years.
Okay. Shall I proceed to Dr. Anand? Please come up.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. I'm Dr. Anand Raj.
Yes.
Currently, I'm a professor of pathology, and
Okay.
I'm the deputy registrar of my university. I do have 11 years of experience after my MD. Being a administrative faculty, we had a task to form an interprofessional teaching as one of our universities, one of the best practices of university. So what we did is that many projects submitted by the students to ICM or STS, our faculty submitted in a research project to the funding agencies get rejected. Mostly, most of the faculty used to get rejected. So we used to analyze those faculty those projects and find out the gap analysis where they went wrong. And as innovative practices, what we did, we inculcated the interprofessional component into those rejected projects, so that how can they how can they inculcate the interprofessional component into those research projects, and mostly the MEU projects were taken into consideration, and all the projects are inculcated with the interprofessional component. The faculties from, especially junior faculties from dental, nursing, and allied health sciences were incorporated into the projects. And we are carrying out many projects with the interprofessional component in the medical education unit. Few outcomes have come out well. And after incorporating interprofessional component into the research project, the projects which were rejected by one or two funding agencies had been accepted by some other funding agencies. So we thought that this is a first success in the outcome of the interprofessional education. Thank you.
Okay. What is your age and then experience,
I'm
teaching experience?
Sir,
and faculty
yes, ma'am.
development
I'm
program?
36. I'm 36 years old right now,
Okay.
and my experience is 11 years after completing my MD in pathology.
Okay.
And we organized nearly 18 programs in medical education unit in our institute, ma'am. And among that, 11 were in the past 5 years of my experience.
Okay. Among the 18 programs, how
Yes,
many
ma'am.
interprofessional
Yes, ma'am.
education? Can you share the experience among one or two?
Yes, ma'am. Initially, we had a CHP, Center of Health Professional Education in our institute. Later on, they are transformed it into ISP, that in Interprofessional Institute of Health Professional Education. So in those things, whatever project means, whatever online FTPs and all those things which we intended to conduct like a subject specialty, I transformed to interprofessional. So means like first thing we got more number of audience, and means like we had a mixed type of feedbacks and outcomes in that FDPs which we conducted. Ma'am, it's like an ongoing project. Still, we are planning to conduct many things in the near future to come on.
Your journey of experience, was it smooth or difficult or rough?
Definitely, we had initial resistance, ma'am, and initial lot of troubles. Then we found out then there's some troubleshootings. Few things are worked on well, and few things where we had some hindrances, but we made sure that things are running smoothly.
Okay. So both of you have shared your experiences very well. So ultimately, it is very difficult to start a program. Once a foundation is laid, the building will automatically raise. The same way, you should be the role model to develop the program first, and later on, everybody will follow in line with you. Am I correct, Anand?
Definitely, ma'am. Certainly.
Okay. So both of you have shared your experiences. Thank you very much. Anything else?
Thank you, ma'am.
Want to tell? You can tell. Otherwise, I'll proceed to the second question. Okay. You have shared completely. So you do not have anything in your reserve. I will proceed with the second question. Dr. Anand and Murari, please be ready for this question. Okay.
Ma'am, this was
This is Dr. Sumana and Amulya. They have to be ready. Sorry. Okay. What should be the
Amulya
character?
or Dr. Murari? This second question is by me and Dr. Murari, I think.
Second question is you and Sumana
Me,
and Dr. Amulya.
Okay, okay. Okay,
Third is myself and Dr. Anand.
okay. So,
Okay. Dr. Sumana ma'am
yes.
and Dr. Amulya ma'am.
Yes,
Please,
ma'am.
please respond. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Why do you need faculty development? First of all, do you need faculty development program in IPE? If at all you need, what are the characteristics which you will define to give such programs?
Who will
Sumana, you can start answering. First,
Yes.
introduce yourself, your age, experience, and those things, and then start with that.
I'm Professor Dr. Sumana, and my age is 50 years with experience of total 16 years after MD. And number of the FDVD I have taken throughout my services in total 5, and number of FDP in last 5 years is 3. And Madam, as I am the MU coordinator of my institution also, So I have to arrange lots of faculty development program, which has in interprofessional education, which is a very much new emerging topic in NMC. So as per NMC rule, we have to go through this faculty development program, and it should be interprofessional education. As by this last February, they have given a circular that faculty development, everybody in this NMC, under NMC, everybody should go for the faculty development program. So very frequently we are arranging this. And why do we need this is what I realize that this is very much needed in this interprofessional education nowadays. What we have learned when we were student, it was a very much traditional one. Now the NMC is telling that it should be very much structured, and how it is structured, it should be through a different mode. Like they have introduced integrations. I mean, integration means vertical integration and the horizontal integration. So the new faculty, whoever coming, we are joining, like senior resident or the demonstrator, or the now demonstrator, senior resident, or the early assistant professor, they are not very exposed to this, what is integration. So to know them, make them very much acquainted with this, what is integration. So we have to do this faculty development program very frequently. Another thing is I will give an experience. Suppose today itself, if it is alignment, this is called alignment. Suppose anatomy is teaching the brain, at the same time physiology is also teaching the brain parts like the basal ganglia, and the medicine, we call the medicine teacher or the HOD, or the sometimes early clinical exposure, we take them to the boards to see the what are the features of Parkinson. So this is called alignment. Without this faculty development program, this cannot be possible. So the main core aim of this faculty development program is the curricular governance. So what is curriculum governance is the how to make the curriculum for the institution. If we are making the curriculum for the first year, so it should be very much aligned for the interprofessional. Suppose another, the Rajkumar was telling the skill. The skill, there's whenever the mannequin we are teaching, so suppose the basic life support at the very much foundation course, whenever the first years are coming, we are asking them to know about the basic life support. So without the interprofessional education to teach the first year student, it is not at all possible. So what we do, we take the anesthesiology department, we help of the anesthesiology, along with the nursing students who has a lots of mannequin. So we take them to those centers and teach them. So this alignment and how to do the alignment and which part of those phases we have to do the alignment. And this is very much important. Otherwise, this faculty development program, it is not possible. So it is very much needed, the faculty development program in the professional education. So this is my view. Thank you.
Sumana ma'am,
Yes.
you have very well explained elaborately about the whole medical education program, like you says, and then curriculum-based education, interprofessional teaching, then integrated approach, vertical approach, horizontal approach, first year department approach, with the second years, everything you have put in a nutshell. You have shared your experiences very well. You have worked out throughout the days. That is why you are able to share such a detailed knowledge. Then, can I ask, ma'am, but you have not said anything about yourself. First, start with yourself. What have you done? What is your experience? What is your age? Share all these things.
I have already shared, ma'am, at the very beginning, whenever I've said, okay, again, I am telling, I am I'm 50 years old, and my experience after MD is total 16 years. The total FDP faculty development program, I have taken 5 years. Out of 5 years, last 5 years, I have taken 3. And just now I have shared, actually, last 2 sessions, I was taking example I am giving for a vertical integration and the horizontal integration. Thus, first we have taken I was teaching the basal ganglia. I have collaborate with the anatomy department where they have shown the cut section of the brain of the basal ganglia. Then I have taken the function and the physiological aspect of the basal ganglia. And then I called an HOD of the medicine department to teach the applied part of the basal ganglia, that is a Parkinson's. And the HOD faculty, they have taken to the word for the early clinical exposure regarding this. So this is my interprofessional education's experience.
Yeah, you have clearly explained about CISP1, CISP2, and even you are ready with CISP3. Okay, ma'am. Very good. Well done.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Can I proceed to Dr. Amulya? Amulya,
Yes,
if I say one thing, don't get offended. Your face looks like Amul baby only. That is why have they named you as Amulya? Very chubby face, cute face. Please tell.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Amulya. I'm still a senior resident. I'm 34 years old and have 6 years of experience. Actually, I don't have much experience with faculty development. Actually, I've helped in conducting only one in the completely and recently, one. So that was along with Dr. Bhagyalakshmi ma'am, who is our ex-FAIMER fellow. And so we had conducted a interprofessional education workshop wherein we had people from all professions, which are people from our institute, our university. So we had in the workshop, we had people from dental, health system and management, nursing, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech and hearing. So all these people, all the faculty from various professions were they had a developmental program for 2 days, and we had various FAIMER faculties also, my FAIMER faculties who came and trained them. So at the end, and we had a lot of activities wherein we came up with a lot of projects also at the end of the workshop. So I feel that faculty development is very important in interprofessional education because it's a relatively new concept, and people do not have they're not oriented to that. And because if it is a part of the CBME curriculum, as Sumana ma'am said, it's very essential for us as teachers to know about it. And such programs will create awareness about it. And such programs are the critical pathway for improving healthcare. So only if I know as a doctor, it's not enough. People from other professions like nursing, physiotherapy, they should also be oriented to interprofessional education. For example, I run the dysphagia clinic. So when people, this faculty development program was attended by my speech language pathologist also. So, and the physiotherapist also, and the nursing professional also. So we
Yeah.
all of them got oriented to how we run a dysphagia clinic, how we need to educate our students, how we need to educate our patients. So this way, I feel it is the need of the hour.
Yes. Thank you, Amulya. I have 3 questions for you. One.
Yes, ma'am.
You were telling that you conducted some interprofessional education workshop.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
was the topic of the workshop? The question number 1. Question number 2. You want to develop interdisciplinary professional education. You want to connect many disciplines like physiotherapy, dental and all. Okay. What were your experience with that? And number 3, my question. If you are as a UG teacher for MBBS or PDS, whatever it may be, whichever doctor you are, what will be your interprofessional angle in that? In these 3, can you answer for me?
Ma'am, for the workshop, there was not a certain only particular, there were a lot of topics, ma'am. So first we had an introduction, and then we had various activities wherein it was taught to us that only certain things can be done only if all the professions are involved. So it was a 2 days workshop. So at the end, we also came up with various activities and various plans. So secondly, you were asking what is my angle, like, and how I would like to get all the professions together. So here I was just trying to give you an example of my dysphagia clinic, where we have physicians like neurologists or general physicians, then me, the ENT surgeon, then we have the dysphagia therapist, the speech, that is a speech language pathologist, then we have the physiotherapist. So one patient is seen as a whole, like if once a patient comes with dysphagia, whether he's admitted or not, suppose he's admitted, he may be admitted under neurologist or geriatrist. Then we go and evaluate them based on various questionnaire we evaluate. Then we discuss with the dietitian and speech language pathologist, and then accordingly we plan the diet and the therapies which has to be given. So, and the nursing staff will also guide the attender on how to give the feeds and etc. So certain times, certain feeds are given only under the guidance or the presence of the nursing staff. So this is how I've tried to educate people the need of education and collaboration. So as a UG
Okay.
teacher, what I would like to say is, I just want to give an example as a UG teacher. What I did is for first year MBBS, we this was during COVID time, wherein I took a class on hearing evaluation. For as a physiology part of physiology, we collaborated, and that was like vertical integration. And again with anatomy, we showed the endoscopic anatomy of the middle ear. So the entire the anatomy, physiology of hearing was covered along with the diseases, a little bit about the diseases. So this is how we did what, as ma'am was saying, integration and alignment. So I tried to some extent to do something like this as a UG teacher. Jayalakshmi ma'am?
Yeah. Okay. Next, the third question, shall I proceed? Anything you want to add, both of you? You have done elaborately, I think. Okay, shall I proceed to third question?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
1 minute, 1 minute. I just get the my question. My third question will be, what should be the characteristics of faculty development program in IPA? Characteristics. Dr. Murari, you have to answer for this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, thank you for the question. The characteristics I have taken so far, my experience is not so much, only 8 years, and now I am newly promoted associate only, and in our state, faculty development programs are a little bit less numbered. I have taken altogether 3 till now, and all of them were IP approach, but not in a full way. What is my feeling that an faculty development program to encompass the IP approach, first condition that it should be both from the participant and from the facilitator side, interprofessional approach should be there. And what another thing is that it should be of a short duration. Max to max 3 days program is good enough. If it gets longer than that, participants get tired. And objective should fulfill the criteria that objective for a particular faculty development program should be set like that fulfills the SMART criteria of it is achievable and target oriented is the very much important, and we must consider the content of particular program according to my nature of audiences and all that thing.
Okay. So first you want to choose the specific subject.
Yes,
Objective
ma'am.
first you decide and then you
Yeah.
will conduct. Okay,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Good answer. Very good, sir. What about Dr. Anand? What will be your Anand, sir? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah.
With regard to the characteristic of IP, I would like to have 3 pertinent points. The first one is that equal
No,
measure
need
of
not
all.
elaborate all 39. Say 3 or 4. Otherwise, we will finish
Yes,
only
ma'am.
at 2:30 p.m.
No. I also mentioned 3 or 4 points only, ma'am, actually.
Okay.
In the first one is that there should be equal measure of interprofessional cooperation. It's not like only medical stream is having an upper hand and the nursing or that is having a little lower hand. So equal measure of equal proportion, equal measure of IP should be ensured. And second one, it should be like a team based. What we're trying in an institute is like a team based, ma'am. Recently we conducted a carcinoma cervix and update, and a couple of months back we conducted oral cancer and updates like that. So where we have a team-based approach, where we have a dental, nursing, and the medical faculties come together and have it. And third thing is like we have a panel discussion incorporating some stakeholders who are like a policy makers, are working in a higher position government job, all those things. They'll come and have a panel discussion so that they can formulate a roadmap how to go about it. So these three pertinent points I would like to have a good characteristic of IPFTP.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anand and Murari sir. I'm going to the fourth point. What is the role of institutional support? That is very difficult to get in IPE for FDP. Dr. Raj and Amulya. First, Dr. Raj can answer and then Amulya can answer.
Yes, ma'am. So I think through the FAIMER classes and through the FAIMER senior mentorship, I understood that even before you talk about designing a curriculum, even before you talk about getting the interprofessional stakeholders on board, the main stakeholder is always the institute. It has to come from above. It has to come from your dean. It has to come from your management. You have to buy into this concept of interprofessional education, impact of interprofessional clinical practice, and that's where the entire concept of IP can come into full force practice. It is because on the day of the IP training, day of the IP faculty development, you are taking away important members of the IP team from their regular workforce. You have to bring them all on board the same particular day, despite what different works they have. And that can happen only the overall dean, our overall director of institute puts his foot down and say, yes, this is important. Yes, this is how we go forward. And that has been very, very instrumental in my case, because my dean has been very, very supportive of the simulation lab. It's also because all of us are aware that having the simulation or skill lab is a pretty big, monumental and resource intensive task. It takes up a lot of financial resources from institute. It takes up a lot of maintenance. You're investing a lot of money into it. So there's an added motivation for institute for the simulation lab to succeed, for the programs to go forward. So I guess I'm lucky in that way, where my dean was always approving whatever the lab needed, because he saw the value in it. They've already invested money into it, already invested time into it, they already invested resources into it. So they felt that yes, simulation is the way forward, and IPE simulation, interprofessional simulation, it takes care of multiple specialties and multiple professions at one go. So that's medical curriculum, that's paramedical curriculum, that's nursing curriculum, all in a single go. So they saw it as a win-win situation, and that helped me move forward. That's my experience.
Okay, thank you, Rajkumar. Just I want to say one word. The institute which are government, they will be very supportive because they are following the NMC norms. But the private institute, they will be money-minded. We have to agree for that. It's very difficult to organize in a private institute. Dr. Amulya, you said you are having less experience. So just briefly tell about institutional support. Then we will proceed to the next question.
Ma'am, though I'm from a private institute, at least in my state, private institutes have been very supportive. I am from a university, JSS Medical College. I'm from JSS Medical College. So it's an university, but our institute has been very supportive. Right from the university people, the registrar and the principal, they have been very supportive, even when I was applying for FAIMER. So, and my HOD and my senior professors also have been motivating me to do such programs like running the dysphagia clinic, which is again an interprofessional education and collaboration. So they have been very supportive, and I feel that the institute should support all the staffs from various professions to be a part of such take part in workshops and have such clinics. And in our institute we do have such clinics. Another such clinic is a Breathe Healthy clinic, which is run by Dr. Bhagya Lakshmi ma'am, who is also a FAIMER faculty. So I was introduced to interprofessional education way back in 2018 when I became a part of her clinic. So she involved us, wherein we evaluate children for with breathing problems. So the pediatrician, the ENT people, and the dental, and like the periodontist and the orthodontist are part of it. So right from then, our institute has been supportive in doing so. And I also would like to tell you that our institute also motivates us to make special interest groups. So we have our IP/CP special interest group, and we have members from various institutes who are like core members. Like from dental department is Bhagyalakshmi ma'am, from medical college it's me. So I think institutional support is very essential, and my institute has been very supportive. Thank you, ma'am.
So you are pampered very much. Okay.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah, you are in
motivated
the
and
gold
guided.
mine. Yeah, thank you
Guided.
so much, Amulya.
Yeah,
Okay,
ma'am.
next I will proceed to question with Dr. Sumana and Murari. Please be there. Dr. Sumana ma'am, what barriers do you see with respect to your efforts to develop faculty to teach IPE? Your own barriers, you please tell.
Ma'am, for me, the first barrier is that what we have faced is a COVID-related issues. And another barrier is that communicating and gathering all the people together from the various professions. Otherwise, to be very frank, I never came to make them together for a single instances. At least few of them, at least one of my other other professional faculties could not attend the meetings, though it is on online. That is the problem.
Okay. Dr. Sumana ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, barrier as Murari sir said that, and there is a collaborating and communicating with the other faculty and bringing them in the single platform at the same time for the development of the faculty and forming the curriculum. This is a very tough barriers. This is the most important barriers, and it is the toughest one actually. Another problem is, madam, that is the time constraint, because nowadays everybody is busy with their own activities, and as it is a collaborative work, so the time constraint is very important here. And in the another thing, this NMC has given very less time for each phases. So alignment, giving them time, going to the clinics and teaching, developing the faculty. These are the main barriers. And enthusiasm, I won't tell it is a barrier nowadays for the faculty, as NMC has done. All the faculty should be undergo this faculty development program for their promotions. So everybody is ready to take that. So that has not become one barrier. Other thing is communication and collaboration, and bringing them together in the single platform is the most important and toughest barrier.
Okay. So both of you have said elaborately about the barriers, and we can find out solutions from Dr. Venki and Dr. Amulya again. So the questions are projected to Dr. Venki. Venki, are you ready? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, please take the first step. Can
Yes,
you elaborate on the solutions to the identified barriers in our discussion? Both of them have said some barriers, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And for that, what is your solution? And recently you have opened up nicely one interprofessional medical education unit in your dental college. So please, how did you come across, overcome the barriers? Okay.
Thank you for the question, ma'am. I'll first introduce myself. I am Dr. Venkatachalam, working in Public Health Dentistry Department. I have an experience of about 5 years, and there have not much of FDBs that I've taken, just about 3 to 4. Of course, in the last 5 years itself. And the FAIMER was the next main FDP, which I consider also as an FDP program only. So with that background, with regard to the concerns that were the barriers that were raised by Dr. Murari and Dr. Sumana, COVID-related issues, I think we'll keep the discussion later, because we are slowly coming out of COVID now. So probably things will improve because of when the restrictions have been lifted. And both of them had actually spoken about getting everybody in a single platform. So the solution to this, I think, will go to the question that was asked previously, is about the institutional support. I think without institutional support, getting people from different backgrounds or different professions into one platform is definitely very difficult. So that so even Dr. Raj was elaborating on what is the most important stakeholder is, again, the institution itself. So that is something which we have to tell them, or probably show them, that such an approach is important making it mandatory is probably one step towards that, so that the institution considers that as a very important thing. So that is one thing which I would like to highlight. And time constraint, again, I think that all this will fall in place once it becomes a compulsory activity. And when the institutional support is there, naturally there will be time slots that are available for such programs. And also, I'd also like to take from what Dr. Amulya had said, with the institution actually encouraging such kind of special groups or special clinics. So this would again it can be integrated into their regular clinical practice also, so that it's not a separate entity, but a part of their regular practice itself. So I think that way the time that constraint can, to an extent, I think could be sorted out. And Dr. Sumana was again saying about enthusiasm, and because it's compulsory, there is no choice. But I would like to say that enthusiasm is definitely a barrier as far as I'm concerned, because for us, there is no mandate that all of them have to undergo a faculty development program. So my recent experience, I just inaugurated a dental education unit. I'm the coordinator for that. So though they're on your face, they say that they're very interested, but when programs come up, we don't see that interest. So they even go to the extent of asking us that, so all these years, do you feel that we have not been teaching properly? So that is the attitude. So an attitude change is required, which probably we'll have to bring about only by doing a lot of programs and showing them that it is important. So this is what I have to say regarding the barriers that were discussed with the previous question. Over to you, Dr. Amulya.
Yeah, beautifully you were put in a nutshell. Amulya?
Ma'am, Venkat sir has told most of the points, because the one attitude we have to change, we have to leave our egos back, but I don't know how it is going to happen. And one more thing I would like to add, that we need to have good leaders at higher post. Like, for example, if my principal or people at the university are, they think in lines of interprofessional education and collaboration, it becomes easy for us. If they are not trained or they don't know about it, it becomes difficult. So I feel people at higher the HODs and principals, they should first be, they should undergo these programs. Only then they will motivate their juniors to and guide them to do this. And coming to that time constraint, few things can be done online. Some kind of activities can be done online, and these special clinics. What happens is, like, if you're meeting once a week for a clinic, that time we will solve many of these issues, and we're saving time, because at the same time one patient we're seen by multiple people, so the patient does not have to go to different departments. So there we are saving time, and we are also seeing and patient is seen as a whole. So I think Venkat sir has other than that covered all the other points which I wanted to say, and I feel people at higher posts should be liberal and give opportunities for juniors also to work with other departments, like have special interest groups, and they should give them time to do such activities. That's all.
Oh, Amulya, you are giving me some
Well said.
advice. As an
No, not
administrator,
you,
as the
ma'am.
senior
General,
person.
I'm saying.
No. Okay, I will follow your advice. Thank you, Amulya. I will implement. Definitely,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will implement.
I want to add in this solution, beg your pardon. This thing is that barriers, this, as Amulya is saying that already we are teaching why need this faculty development program, and it's, if we put some incentive, yes, you are teaching good, but why can't we update ourselves so we will teach better? If there is some incentives, like they have done this, if you do that, then we'll have the promotions and the points. So
yeah, that is attitude change.
Yes,
Yeah,
First, we have to develop ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be the role model. Yeah, very well discussed. I will proceed to the seventh question. Okay. What are the common assessment strategies for faculty development program in IPE? Dr. Raj and Anand will be the best solution to tell them, because they started with the simulation lab long back. So they will be able to tell. Dr. Raj, please share.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
So assessment strategies typically involve evaluating participant outcomes, program effectiveness, and impact on collaborative practices. The usual strategies that we use: pre-test, post-test, surveys, focus groups, observations of team interactions, and feedback from participants and stakeholders are very, very important. So these help assess what the participants exactly went through. In an FDP, it's always important that we realize that we are involving faculties as participants and not as faculties. So the same strategies that we use for participants is also applicable for faculties. What I'm trying to say is that the IP tools that we use for our own participants, it's not very different for faculty development programs is my understanding of things, at least. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So we can use the IPAS score, the Interprofessional Attitudes Scale. We can use the ICAS score as well, Interprofessional Collaborative Competency Attainment Survey, which includes communication, teamwork, and interprofessional conflict resolution. So when it comes to FDPs, it's always nice that you get different faculties who probably never interacted before. So there are going to be conflicts. So this ICAS score is very, very important and very useful to evaluate that. And there's a go-to score which all of us commonly use called the Ripple score, Readiness for Interprofessional Learning Scale. I have a few other scores in mind, but these four scores are something I'm dependent on. And in my own simulation-based study, I've used the PAC score, PACT, Performance Assessment Cognitive Tool, which is developed by the University of George Washington, and is very, very important in evaluating emergency-based approaches to simulation and professional education. I think I can leave the rest to Dr. Anand, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So you got told about all complicated assessment, which we ourselves have to learn a lot.
Unfortunately,
Okay. First we will come to know that, and then we will learn from Rajkumar, and then we will implement.
Madam Rajkumar is very much in this assessment skill from last 2 years. We are learning from.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Anand, over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Most of the things have been covered by my friend, Dr. Rajkumar. One of the effective way to measure the outcome of the FTP is that what is the pre and post exposure? What is your experience before that attending FTP and after the attending the FTP? And from practical point of view, apart from the in addition to the scores and other things, now from practical point of view, what I feel is that how far they're implementing the outcome of the FTP in their own department, in their own institute, and in their own region. So whether the outcome of the
FTP is coming next, performance indicator.
Whether it's having any community
assessment strategy,
impact and all those things. So that's what I feel, ma'am. Mostly that the pre and post expression, what is the impact they have? That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Then we are going for the last question. And that is on what are the performance indicators of a successful FDP, and projected to Dr. Sumana ma'am and Dr. Murari. Sumana ma'am, please answer.
Ma'am, performance indicators are the implementation of the FDP in the institutional level and in their own classrooms. After learning, going through the faculty development program, if somebody is coming back to his or her classroom, how they are implementing their which strategy they are following for their own classroom, even after going through the faculty development program, how they are implementing in the curriculum through this their phase wise, that is a main performance indicators. Another best indicators is the feedback from the students. How was, suppose as Dr. Anandraj says, the pre and post, I mean, suppose we have gone through a self-directed learning session before we have taken a feedback, and then after SDL session again we have gone through a post test session. So that can be a very much good indicator for this FDP. So how we are performing this. Anything you want to share, Dr. Morari?
Yeah, then as Anandraj said, once there will be some objective, whether that objective is reached,
fulfilled or not,
objective
how we are implementing, yes,
and that is continued, or the objectives are again expanded. Those things also that will be the performance indicator.
Competency, then SLO, how it is expanded. One competency, how it is expanded in SLO. That is a part of.
Dr. Murari, you want to add anything, sir?
Unmute, sir. Unmute yourself.
That is the most important thing. And another thing, what ma'am talked is mostly of a theoretical basis. And another good indicator could be the assessment of skill before attending the FTP from the students, and then after FDP, the same faculty delivering the learning process to the student and how much skill they are obtaining, particularly for those interns and residents, what is their improvement actually in the world, that can be measured.
Skill can
And
be measured, yes.
Individually, the efficiency of the performance of
yes, how
individual
much
faculties.
they become more efficient.
Yeah, that were delivered at every working place, that can be assessed. And that will also be one of the indicator.
And another improvement in communication skills. That is another good measurement of this
communication.
faculty.
Yeah. Communication, collaboration,
Communicative and collaborative skills improvement, all these things.
then
Ma'am, I
problem
would like to
solving.
add one more measure can be like how many collaborative projects have come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
Even in the phase 3, even in the phase 3, part 3, phase 2, there are some collaborative projects by the students. They are supposed to present in the logbook also. That can be an indicator for this performance FDP. So collaborative practice, how much we are doing, right? Yours, sir and Amulya, that is can be an indicator for this. Means skill, how they have learned, how they have taught them, and how they have learned, that we can assess also.
Yes.
Okay.
Like DOAP can be converted to the DOPS. So how we are teaching through the DOAP and how they are assessing that is through the DOPS. So this is a faculty development program. We can indicate that how it is.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. So it will be preparing the students for the full skill learning, higher skill learning, and like foreign examination also, they will be trained very well. Okay. So to summarize, can I start summarizing or anybody wants
Yes,
to
ma'am.
anything?
So Venki can summarize as he has written everything. Venki, that will be easier for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I do that, ma'am? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we started the discussion by about 8 p.m. and we had about 8 questions to discuss. The first question, just to summarize, like we all shared, the first was to sharing the experiences regarding interprofessional education teaching, which was answered by Dr. Raj and Dr. Anand. So Dr. Raj spoke about the experiences of him setting up the simulation facility in his institution and the challenges that he faced and how he overcome those challenges. And similarly, Dr. Anand also spoke about the ICMR projects, which initially got rejected, but when the interprofessional component came into picture, some of them were successful. So which he also focused on the initial difficulties, but which were later on useful and which was overcome and then which met with success. That was with the first question. The second question was whether the faculty development was needed. Is needed in an IPE. Definitely, Dr. Sumana and Amulya emphasized that it is very much required because in the new the NMC guidelines, they require a lot of work to be done with respect to vertical and horizontal integration. The curriculum governance aspect was emphasized on, and so that for all that, faculty development is definitely required. And even Dr. Amulya also spoke about the interprofessional development programs which she has undertaken, and also made a statement that faculty development is a critical pathway for improving healthcare, and it has to be a mandatory aspect with respect to interprofessional education. Coming to the third question regarding the characteristics of IPE, Dr. Murari focused about how it should be for a short duration and it should fulfill the objectives and the criteria, that the SMART criteria. And Dr. Anand also spoke about there should be an equal measure of different IP teams, like they should be given equal weightage while developing the programs, and it should be theme-based. We need to have some, I hope I got it wrong. I got it right. Dr. Anand, you were saying about theme-based, right? Not team-based, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Team.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yes, yeah, it has to be theme-based. And then probably he also suggested the use of panel discussions with policymakers, etc., to have better outcomes. And the fourth question was on the role of institutional support, which I think all of us agreed in different questions that how important that is, because they are one of the important stakeholders, as far as implementing an IP is concerned institution. And there was also discussion regarding the government and private institutes, while most of them who are in this group said that being in private institutes, they received good support as far as conducting interprofessional activities was concerned. Then the 5th and 6th questions were regarding the barriers and solutions to the identified barriers. So mostly it was regarding getting all of them together in one platform was a major identified barrier. Along with that came time constraint also. And there were few solutions proposed again with respect to the institutional support, and also how an attitude change should be brought about by providing incentives, and also how good leaders, we need to have good leaders at high post so that it trickles down towards the junior staff also. The 7th question was regarding the common assessment strategies, with which Dr. Raj very well described the various strategies that he has used for as far as his simulation projects are concerned. Similarly, Dr. Anand also spoke about the pre-test, the importance of pre-test and post-test, and also checking about whether the outcomes have been implemented after we undergo the faculty development programs. And the last question is an extension of the 7th question, like how do we assess the performance indicators? Again, it is based on whether how much we implement what we learned during these programs, and also with regard to the feedback from students. And also another few outcomes that were suggested was how do they improve in their communication by observing their skill at their workplace, and also by the number of collaborative projects that they undertake, which is also a part of the new NMC curriculum. So all this could be an how we assess the indicators of a faculty development program. So that sums up, that I think sums up the focus group discussion. I
Yes,
think
it's a nice summarization.
Excellent.
yeah, it was a very, very good session. We
So
enjoyed
we
the
have
session really.
Excellent compilation.
the roles very perfectly that we are seeing, and it is a very good teamwork. And
Yeah.
this session was really enlightening. Means after a long time we are having this online session. Means otherwise it is very good.
I
This
think we
is
had a good
really,
leader.
yeah, ma'am, this is
Jayalakshmi.
really a team collaborative effort. All the 7 people together to join at the same time, at the same day, and at the same place, and in front of the laptop, by allotting, sacrificing everything together. It's one of the attitude change. We all have changed our attitude. We have given up our personal commitments, and then we have been in front of the laptop to answer all these questions. So as a facilitator, I am very, very thankful to you all. Though the questions are copied from the original version of Team Vriddhi, some of the questions we have put and discussed on our own. So it was a very good effort. So to summarize the fact, interprofessional education is taking its lead, and it is a must. As Amulya said, administrator, remember, I will always be reminded of that. Thank you, Amulya. Administrators and the higher post authorities, management, institutional support are must. And we have to change our attitude to learn towards interprofessional education. And like Venki, we have to break the barrier, whatever it is. Don't see the path behind your back. See the path in front and proceed. That should be the thing. And we will follow Anand Raj's assessment criteria and Anand's performance indicator, like Sumana ma'ams and all. So we all will proceed together in this interprofessional education. We will spread the message. And Dr. Murari, how he said the objective should be satisfied, that should be our primary aim. And I once again, as a facilitator, I thank you all and all the persons who have participated, including Venki, who has transcribed and took part, very active part in organizing. So hats off to you. Have a wonderful day with this.
Ma'am, if you can
Thank you, ma'am, for
On
your
the video,
Thank you.
Yeah,
just for
ma'am,
a second,
please
can we
take
just,
a picture.
yeah, ma'am, are you in a position to switch on your video so that we'll just take a quick picture and we'll conclude, ma'am. Jayalakshmi, ma'am,
Yeah.
do you have
We
access to
have
camera,
switch
ma'am?
on?
Can you?
Yeah, I will switch on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Sit.
So are we ready to take 3, 2,
background.
1? Okay. Just a second, I'll just paste it. Let me just see it. Let's come. Yeah, I've got everyone.
This video we are going to upload, it will be very long, no?
Yeah, it will be very long. I'll try to split it into 2-3 videos and probably upload through the.
And the transcripts also, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'll stop
almost
the recording.